Well, good evening, race fans. Come at you here tonight, live from Homestead for the Dev Sports Cards SCSRA Cup Series Championship finale here tonight. And this should be a good one, as the final four are all Cypress Academy. They had quite the gig going, racking up wins left and right. Each driver has more than two wins apiece or more. And your final four looks a little bit something like this. So Jesse Whittington, fresh off of his win from Kentucky, followed by Matt Parasini, Charles Stevens, and Garrett Walden. Your final four all on tap here tonight at Homestead. One of these four will be crowned champion. How well do you play together with your teammates? What is the plan tonight? Is it one for all or for one? Should be an exciting race nonetheless. 8 minutes, 30 seconds left here in practice, and the field is a little bit bigger than it's been the last couple weeks, which might help add some more wrinkles to that championship fold, as many of the championship contenders, they have 10 other cars out there on track with them that they're going to have to compete for the win here tonight. Now, they're going to be racing their own race. Obviously, they don't have to win the race here tonight to win the championship. But it's one of those moral victories at the end of the year. You know you want to go out there and win the season finale and win the championship together. You know, it's kind of the double whammy. You get the win at the racetrack and the championship in the same week. Gotta imagine that will weigh heavy on the championship contenders, that they would love to get that opportunity sealed here tonight. Let's go and kind of go around on our championship four here tonight. You got Charles Stevens Jr. in the number 84. Kind of neat. They're doing a unique situation here with the paint schemes tonight. All of them colored up in Cypress Academy logos and pretty simple looking. But it's going to be easy to distinguish who our final four are here tonight, because all four of them have single color cars with a CA Cypress Academy logo on the front. Very, very interesting and neat. Got the 94 of Jesse Whittington here on pit road, as well as the 24 of Matt Parasini. So it's going to be anyone's guess as to who's got what it takes here tonight. Homestead it's definitely a unique mile-and-a-half track, different banking. You know, the progressive banking definitely adds some uniqueness to this track that other mile-and-a-half tracks cannot claim. When you go run on them, it's a lot flatter, and the progressive banking definitely makes for more, exciting racing. So Homestead, definitely one of the best tracks I feel like you could go to crown a champion, because it definitely brings out the driver in all these racers to get to the top of the podium. Well, with right around 5 minutes left, let me take my opportunity here to get our sponsor presence out there on the racetrack. First and foremost, obviously, the one presenting the series here, Dev Sports Cards for the SCSRA Cup Series. This broadcast presented by them, the primary partner of the SCSRA and a consistent supporter of the league. Their eBay store has a fresh batch of auctions closing soon, from star rookies to vintage chase cards, plus 25-cent combined shipping on qualifying orders. If you want to support the people who support sim racing, check out Dev Sports Cards on eBay before those listings expire. And of course, our replays here tonight wouldn't be complete without Butt Kicker, bringing a whole new dimension to immersive entertainment. Butt Kicker has pioneered tactile feedback technology that lets you feel the action. Whether you're behind the wheel in a sim rig, watching a blockbuster in your home theater, or in the studio dialing in the low end, with 2 decades of industry leadership, their haptic transducers convert audio signals into physical vibration, turning sounds into sensations. If you ever wish you could feel that racing shift, explosion, or bass drop, Butt Kicker makes it real. And our third sponsor, most relevant here with Intensity Broadcasting, you've got the hidden opponent. In racing, everyone prepares for the competitors they can see, but one of the toughest opponents a driver can face never shows up on the timing screen. The hidden opponent is tackling the mental health battle inside the helmet, educating athletes, supporting teams, and giving the racing community language, tools, and the leadership to talk about what usually stays silent. Because when drivers confront the hidden opponent, it doesn't just make them faster, it makes the whole garage stronger. Seems like everyone kind of dialed in right now here tonight. Only Matt Parasini out on track getting some hot laps in before the end of practice here. 14 car field, it's one of the larger counts of cars that we've seen in a while here. The chase, or I guess you call it the playoffs, car count kind of dwindled a little bit when drivers realized that they were no longer in contention. But still, with one more race on the season, everyone kind of had this one marked on their calendar that they wanted to show up and show out. So we should have a great race on tap here tonight, folks. Grab those snacks, grab those beverages, get a nice comfy seat, and get settled in. 150 laps here tonight is the distance. Stage break in the series as follows. Our stage break here tonight from Homestead is going to be on so it'll be on lap 40 here tonight is the stage break from Homestead. And there's no points that these final 4 drivers are competing for tonight. It is whoever finishes ahead of the other. So the final 4, they don't have any stage points. They don't have any lead laps, no bonus points to count for here tonight. They're simply going to be fighting for position, and whoever finishes ahead of the other 3 takes the title here tonight. It is kind of a cruel scenario to have all 4 drivers compete for the championship. The one good thing is all the team is going to succeed here tonight. One of them is going to be a champion no matter what. So they've already got the lock on the championship before the championship is even settled. That in its own is pretty much where it draws the line. After that, it's kind of cruel. You know, teammates and camaraderie this series, this season especially, they've proven that these drivers work together, they cooperate together. So where do you go from here? Are you going to drive your teammates a little bit rougher here tonight with the championship on the line, or might we see a, kind of a class act race here tonight where they all, cooperate, work together, and then wait till the last couple laps to truly take the gloves off? So we'll have to see. All that I can hope for after 150 laps settles here tonight, that all 4 of them can be left running, contending for that title. That, in its own is the best way to close out a season that has this playoff format. At least everyone still running at the end of a race. No mechanical failures, no wrecks that they didn't cause. Just racing, and truly the number 1 driver comes out on top. And here is practice coming to a close here tonight. Kind of bittersweet that another season has come and gone. It's thrilling to have been on this ride with everyone through the season, but we got 150 more laps left, and I guarantee you these guys will be back for another season. There's a lot of talent out there. There's a lot of teamwork. There's a lot of, characters, and just makes for some great racing week in and week out. So SCSRA running strong. Season 11 comes to a close, but the future definitely bright for these drivers. Alrighty, first driver already taking to the track to get their timed lap in on qualifying. Matt Pericini in the Championship 4. Matt Bands is jumping out now as well. Wish I had a track map. Yeah, it kind of works. I can't see multiple cars, but I can see where that car is. It'd be cool if we could see where each of the other cars are, so we can get an idea of when they're coming for their first timed lap. Already we know that Matt Pericini getting on his first timed lap here. And I neglected to see what the lap times were in practice, but first lap for Matt Pericini, a 32.928. Obviously fastest. Oh, Matt Bands matched that with a 9.25. Not exactly matched, but very close to identical laps there. First two cars on track. Wow, oh, Lauren Vincent to the top spot with a 32.88. Billy Tidoff with a 32.89. Starting to look like we had some contenders show up here tonight that want to go out with a bang after having a rough season. A couple of these drivers maybe trying to get that win in before the season is over. Ooh, Billy Tidoff clips the wall there. And here we got Jesse Whittington. His lap was fast first. 32.77, top of the board. He was one and done. It looks like he didn't want to run any more than that one lap. He knew it was good enough. So Jesse Whittington, Lauren Vincent, Billy Tidoff, Matt Bands, and Matt Pericini, your top 5. A little bit deeper, you've got Garrett Walden yet to complete his timed lap. Let's jump to his car and see how he does on that first timed lap. Second quickest for Garrett Walden. So your Title 4 are currently sitting 1, 2, 6, and 8. Kind of a spread across the field there, mostly on the top half of the contenders here tonight. Garrett Walden gonna set a second lap. Is it gonna be quicker? No, not quite, but we have a new pole position right now. Travis Bennett just nailed a 32.66. Top spot for Travis Bennett here in number 01 Mustang. Very Miami-esque Ford Mustang paint scheme with the blue, the teal, the Miami vibes. Looks really cool. But yeah, Travis Bennett top of the board on his first lap there. Corey Bunch sets a lap, and it looks like he's going to set it down with a 45.32. Ryan Gomes on his second lap here, perhaps. Nope, he's on cool down. Well, there you have it, folks. Non-title contender gets the top spot here tonight. Travis Bennett, who's kind of just hand-picked his races here this season. seems to be the tracks that he's good at, so he's handpicked the ones that he's more than capable of running well. He got the win earlier this season at Watkins Glen from the pole, so can he repeat that scenario again tonight, start in pole position here at Homestead? Well, the qualifying session is in the books, and we've got 150 laps the distance here tonight. So from qualifying, here is your starting lineup for the Miami 150 here at Homestead, the SCSRA Cup Series Championship Finale. Travis Bennett, Jesse Whittington, Garrett Walden, Sharn Hill, and Lauren Vincent. Then you have Billy Tidoff, Ryan Gomes, Matt Bands, Matt Parasini, Josh King, Charles Stevens, Jorge Ledesma, Corey Bunch, and Josh Hall. Josh Hall did not record a time during qualifying, but is in the field nonetheless. So 14-car field, 4 of which are in the mix for the title hunt. Alrighty, getting rolling out here for the start of the race here tonight. Alrighty, time to settle it here tonight. Championship for the season 11 of the SCSRA Cup Series, brought to you by Div Sporting Cards.
Green flag, green flag.
Slow start, and we're rolling here at Homestead. Travis Bennett on the low side, and Jesse Whittington on the outside. This will very likely be a daylight to dusk race here tonight. 150 laps is a long enough venture here for these drivers that they'll start to see the sun go down and maybe even the lights turning on here at Homestead, Miami. Jumping to the top of the board, you've got Jesse Whittington taking over the top spot now. Travis Bennett settles into second, but he's going to keep the 94 there on us, trying to catch right back up to his back bumper. Jesse Whittington, with his win at Kentucky last week, is obviously in the momentum side of things looking good. This being another 1.5-mile track, although like I highlighted, just a little bit more unique to the likes of Kentucky. You gotta imagine Jesse Whittington is feeling it here today. Has that momentum rolling from Kentucky. And potentially looking to do as much as he can here tonight to seal the deal. His teammate Garrett Walden, though, close in proximity. The rest of Cypress Academy, you got Matt Parasini. He's up 2 spots, now into 7th. Charles Stevens Jr. makes up 1 spot from 11th. He actually fell back to 11th there in qualifying, so here we got some trouble up front. There's smoke. Where did that smoke come from? I'm gonna go back just 1 lap here and see where that smoke came from. The 72 of Bayans went for a ride. I'll get back to live here in just a moment. We're just catching up on the replay here for what happened to Matt Bayans. Got the 79 of Billy Titoff. Race stays green. Titoff just flips him there. Hard hit there on that wall. It's a tough place to hit where it sticks out like that. Well, tough break for Matt Bayans. He had showed some speed during practice and had a decent qualifying position here tonight, but all for naught. Looks like he's going to go home 14th at this rate. Might be able to get a quick repair and try to stay within a lap of the leaders. It's already a lap down, now maybe 2 laps. So, long day for the 72 team. Starting right now, early in this one. It seems to be the hot spot in the racetrack, right back in the mid-pack. Making up another spot, Charles Stevens Jr. moving up into 8th. All of Cypress Academy starting to work their way methodically up to the front, and only 8 laps time. All of them trending in the right direction. My mic likes to be a bit, sometimes it doesn't like it, so I hope my cough didn't come through on the mic mute there. I even hit the mute button and it still showed that I was sending audio. Go, the 84 making up another spot here. Or actually, he's defending. Running in 8th, that's where he's been. He's defending right now on Josh McKean, trying to keep that 17 car behind him. Well, look at that. Sharon Hill running in 4th, trying to close the gap up on Garrett Walden. Matt Parasini up 4 spots. You're about to have 3 of your title contenders in the top 4 here. Sharon Hill's going to make this a tough pass.
Caution, yellow flag.
Well, we're under caution for the first time here tonight. Jesse Whittington leading them in to the caution with the lead here. So let's dial up the butt kicker instant replay here. So your caution happens towards the mid-pack, it looks like, maybe even a little bit further back. Oh, there it is. Didn't seem to register where it happened. There we go. That is the 07 of Lauren Vincent, unfortunately, just getting into it with one of the other cars, losing traction back the field. Mild caution here tonight, first caution of the evening. It's definitely very, very early to be playing strategy. So we'll see if there's any takers down pit road. It looks like Ledesma is on pit road. He's tail of the field anyways. That first stage break being at lap 40 here tonight. Strategy-wise, I'm not sure you're really going to see much for that. You know, the stage break and stage end, especially with the final four. It's going to be all about track position here tonight. So they're definitely playing a different ballgame than the rest of the field. And honestly, everyone else involved on the race here tonight, you might as well just throw points, the whole points conversation out the window. It's all about winning the race here tonight. And there's a lot of these drivers that have not won here in season 11 of the SCSRA Cup Series. So who would be more hungry here tonight? Your championship four, who each have had 2+ wins on the season, or someone like Sharon Hill, who's been hanging out kind of in position to win races here and there, but has not been able to seal the deal yet. He's sitting there in fourth. Ryan Gomes would love to put a nice, neat little cherry on top for his season. There's been a little bit of a struggle. 55 camp has shown some chances of victory, and it's been snatched away viciously at times this season. So, and some names such as Billy Titoff, Corey Bunch, Joshua King, Josh Hall. Those are all drivers that are capable of getting the job done. They just have not here this season. So you can already see Cypress Academy 3 of the top 5. And the fourth one not too far out of the mix, running in 8th. This caution will definitely help Charles Stevens get back up within the lead draft here. And so reset, recalculate, figure out where you're running and what stage looks like for these drivers.
Green, green, green.
I just checked the comments and someone said to Control R, update the paints. I'm not sure if these paints were not completely updated. Welcome in, everyone. I'm sorry I didn't catch the comment section until now. Have it up on a separate screen, not connected to the PC. So, still, if that the trading paints is not updated properly, let me know. I'm not sure which driver. Walden and Hill duking it out for position here. Sharon Hill's been holding on for a top 5 here on the restart. Now he's having to defend against Garrett Walden. Right there, he's able to kind of hold serve, but the 43 attacking back. And there you're seeing the progressive banking kind of coming into play. Some of the drivers have their car set up to run the low line, the mid line, and especially Sharn Hill, who's set up to run the high line there. And all lines have to intersect at one point or another. So you see they all kind of come back up the top of the track. Number 5 seems to have a pretty fast line going as he's been able to defend on the 43. And now starting to try and catch up to the 01 of Bennett. Like I was saying, I can only imagine how hungry Sharn Hill is to take the victory here today. In a way, you know, kind of forget about those strategy calls for points. A lot of the drivers over-calculate strategy calls and end up costing themselves a victory because of a strategy call gone wrong. So tonight, without points on the line, no one's going to... you would like to think that no one's going to make a mistake by out-strategizing themselves. And potentially, we'll see a really well-earned victory here tonight. So another yellow flag here. We'll go ahead and find the cause of caution here. So our second caution here tonight happens right here on the exit of turn 2. You've got the 79 of Billy Titoff. And it looks like he loses it all on his own there, right in front of Charles Stevens and right alongside Joshua King. He's able to avoid hitting the inside wall here, just slings it out. Maybe not, actually does make contact. Hits it. Not terribly, though. Recovers pretty swiftly. Back and rolling, but under caution. Now, I feel like the big winner in these cautions definitely might be Sharn Hill here. Kind of gives him another opportunity to save his stuff. Gets another opportunity to start up alongside the leaders. And more opportunities to get side by side and make some aggressive moves to fight for the win. Jesse Whittington has held the lead ever since he took it away from Travis Bennett. Travis Bennett's, I think, led about one lap here tonight. The rest have gone to Jesse Whittington. Sharn Hill is right there knocking, ready to pounce, whether the leaders make a mistake or not. Looks like everyone's back on the lead lap. Matt Bands had fallen a lap down, but got the wave around. Lucky dog. He's up to 12th. Alrighty, back rolling here
Green,
tonight.
green, green.
Green flag a-waving. Settled back in with the lead. It's Jesse Whittington, Travis Benton up to second, Garrett Walden up to third, getting by Sharn Hill as Hill falls back to fourth. And Sharn Hill, maybe the high line starting to evaporate a little bit as even the 24 Matt Parasini starting to make up the difference here. Feel like that Kyle Larson line takes a couple laps to get going. Get wired up. There he is. He's going to close the door on Parasini for now. Charles Stephen picks up another spot. He's in 7th. Whoa, the 17 gets way high there. Joshua King overdrives the turn. There's all kinds of racing action on track right now. It's kind of hard to keep up with all the battles starting to develop. We got the 84 of Charles Stevens starting to close in on Ryan Gomes here. But even Joshua King making it interesting. Look at that, running around the outside. Wow, he overdrove it, kisses the wall. But he's going to keep it. The momentum rolling on the 17. He's right there on the back bumper of Charles Stevens, even after hitting the wall. Stevens goes in on the 55. Ryan Gomes on the defense right now. Is he going to be able to hold off Stevens? Stevens gets right up in the back bumper. Close up on the rear quarters there. Oh, and the 55 overdrives it now. Very common looking trend so far that they are able to overdrive it and keep the keep the car at least running adequately fast. It didn't look like he lost a lot of time hitting the wall. You would think hitting the wall would slow you way down, but they're clipping the wall here and there and keeping the momentum. But Charles Stevens gets the job done, moving up to 6th. Meanwhile, Sharn Hill having to defend his 4th position here. That's Matt Parasini. Yet again, Cypress Academy continuing to move up the field here. Ooh, Sharn Hill clips the wall, just like we saw the other drivers doing. Somehow able to actually gain ground and drive away from the 24 Parasini just a tad. Now Garrett Walden now up to 2nd, putting Travis Bennett back to 3rd. Lots of back and forth racing. Sharn Hill now might actually lose the spot. Matt Parasini is as close as he's been in the last couple laps. They're heading towards the stage break in 10 laps from now. Parasini right there. He's going to try to close the door and not able to. The opportunity shrunk pretty quickly there. 24 to close the door. Sharn Hill is married to that outside line. He's not given up on it yet. Seems to work every other lap. When you have something that works every other lap, that means it's not working on the other lap. Now look at that, the 24 right back in it. Right on his back bumper. The ebb and the flow. Sharn Hill is definitely capitalizing by minimizing mistakes running up there on the high line. It's very easy to make a mistake running that outside line because you're so close to the wall. You're carrying so much more momentum. And all it takes is for some rubber buildup or something to make the car slick, and up into the wall you go. If you can drive a car around the outside, you can drive a car just about any configuration of the racetrack. That is a masterclass skill to have, running that outside line. Something that race winners typically are capable of doing. Yeah, look at that. Sharn Hill starting to catch back up to Matt Parasini. The outside line paying off on the long run here. Getting right alongside. Now he's going to be forced to go to the low side, which we don't know how happy that car is going to be down low. He tried and it didn't work. Now look at that. The 84 going on the high side now. Charles Stevens Jr. making a move. This could put 4 of the top 5 as championship contenders here. Yeah, Sharn Hill not able to hold on. He lost the spot to Matt Parasini and now losing the spot almost to Charles Stevens Jr. Well, there you have it, folks. 1, 2, 4, and 5. Travis Bennett is the odd duck out at the moment, running in third. Sharn Hill's going to fight tooth and nail to keep this spot, but the outside line is starting to deteriorate on him pretty rapidly. Well, now things are where it's going to get interesting. Your final 4 just about where they all should be at the end of the race tonight. Closing in on the 3rd mark of the race in about 15 laps. Seems that they got a good long green flag run here to kind of get a feel for their car, kind of a shakedown on what they can expect their car will give them throughout the night here. Might be interesting to keep an eye on some of the back half of the field to see who may have something else in the tank for the latter half of the race here tonight. Couple movers that I'm seeing so far. You got Corey Bunch here in the number 02 car. He's up 4 spots from where he qualified. Joshua King up 3 spots. Charles Stevens up 6. Matt Parasini up 5. Yeah, man, Sharn Hill, the tires are getting away from him as he's dropped even further back now to 7th. It's kind of heartbreaking, actually. Had such a great start to the race, but maintaining the car, maintaining the traction is often a much harder battle in these next-gen cars. Well, Charles Stevens Jr. now on the defense. It looks like it's going to be him trying to defend the position potentially from Joshua King and Corey Bunch. As Matt Parasini, his teammate, is about 2.5 seconds ahead of him. He will get saved here in just a couple laps for the stage break, and that should give everyone a chance to hit the refresh button. Possibly go down, get some fresh tires, full gas, and get ready for the 105 lap slalom to the finish. There's definitely a lot of naysayers to the playoff format, but you got to give it credit where credit is due. Even tonight, your 4 best drivers are duking it out for the title here tonight,
Caution,
and they're
yellow
showing
flag.
that they're here to win the race, not just take a second to a non-title contender. Whittington has led just about every lap here at the start of the race, and he is your stage winner here tonight. Just a one step closer to taking the title here. He's got to get clear of the stage and then start figuring out the next strategy. Well, now that that's behind him, you get to set your sights on the strategy for 105 laps to the finish. Cautions, whatever else might come about, you'll have to just roll with the punches for the rest of the night. When Whittington is on top, he's definitely on top and hard to beat. It's when the other drivers and the other cautions start to affect, and it's not just Jesse Whittington, it's any of these drivers. The cautions will definitely throw him a curveball, and they'll get off strategy or basically thrown out to the wolves. And it's all about split-second decisions here. You got to make that choice to stay on or come down pit road. And whether or not that call is right or wrong, you'll never know until the green flag waves or the checkered flag waves. Here we go. Takers down pit road. It looks like just about everyone. Yep, everyone's coming down pit road here. Billy Titoff staying out, but I think that's just a lap down. He might be a lap down, actually. Yep, wave around, looks like. So we'll see who comes out of the pits here with the lead. This could be a huge pivotal moment in the race. Getting a great pit stop and coming out with the lead is always key to victory. Often. Killer stop for Jesse Whittington. He's going to roll out with the lead, and it looks like potentially second and third. I don't know if Parasini beat Bennett, but it looked close. So Cypress Academy maintains 1, 2, 4, 5 here under caution exit of the pit stops. Almost perfect. I was going to check and see if the numbers actually lined up with where they're running. Not quite. If you're making predictions here tonight, that's a very, very valid prediction. I mean, you really can't go wrong with any of the predictions that you make here. But a 1, 2, 3, 4 finish could be very much on tap here tonight. We saw him take 1, 2, 3, 4 at Talladega. That was the first time in their team's history taking a 1, 2, 3, 4 finish. Then the following week at Gateway, they almost had a 1, 2, 3, 4, but by the hair of his chinny chin chin, they failed by one spot. Fourth was taken by a Cypress Academy driver. Fifth place Cypress Academy driver was right there, though, side by side. Looks like they're primed and ready. Charles Stevens Jr. the furthest back in fifth, but he's right there in striking distance. The The lights are on with the pace car. That means the lights on the racetrack are surely coming on soon.
Green flag, green flag.
We're back and rolling. Great start from Jesse Whittington as he gets about a 2-car length advantage on the rest of the field. He's running that outside line. Up to second it is Garrett Walden, and he's trying to hold off his teammate there, Matt Parasini. Charles Stevens, here we go. Potentially making it 1, 2, 3, 4 for Cypress Academy. Don't want to jinx it, obviously, knock on wood. But, yeah, getting right there in the midst of it. Travis Bennett, the one spoiler in the mix, keeping him from being 1, 2, 3, 4. I do have a gut feeling here. You might keep an eye on Corey Bunch here. It seems like his car might be coming to him in the nighttime. Number 02 looking stout. He's up 5 spots from where he started. And he's still picking them off. One by one. Side by side with Sharon Hill. He's going to drag race down the front stretch. Meanwhile, you got a battle for fourth. Charles Stevens right there alongside Travis Bennett. Kind of the hornet's nest here. You got about 5 cars all under a blanket. And there you go. Charles Stevens takes over the 4th spot. And it's a 1, 2, 3, 4 for Cypress Academy. At least a brief timestamp of them being 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, no, it kind of starts to radar starting to go off a little bit here as to whether or not they're going to play nice or really race hard here for the championship. All 4 of them have a great car here tonight, it looks like, and any one of them could come home victorious with the title. Travis Bennett, though, keeping him honest. Staying up on that high line, railing around the outside. And look at that. Right there, he gets back alongside the 84. 84 kind of cuts his line off a little bit, and Bennett had to let up. But the advantage for Bennett is that Charles Stevens goes back to the low side. Looks like Bennett's going to have to settle in line there 5th. Yet again, keeping an eye on Corey Bunch here, moving up through the field. Haven't seen him in all the races this year, but it seems like he's got it figured out here tonight in Homestead. Now up 6 spots into 7th from where he qualified here tonight. He's very capable of catching that number 17 and running him down as well. Travis Bennett not letting Charles Stevens walk away with this very easily. The battle continues to brew between these two. Charles Stevens goes back up to the high side, cutting off his run. And he's going to give him a bump here to kind of let him know it's like, hey, I got a faster run. You're not going to be able to just keep blocking that run each time. I'm going to have momentum, and one of these times I'm not going to lift. Still very early in the race, 98 laps to go. No reason to push it or get too aggressive here. We gotta figure Travis Bennett doesn't want to let the top 3 get too far ahead, where he might have a chance. Whoa, and wow, what did I say? He's going to give the 84 a bump again there. Not lifting. He's got the speed. And he's not willing to go out there and ruffle a few feathers, even if it's a title contender. Definitely an interesting line that the 01 car is running. That high side very fast for his car, the way it's set up. And look at that, the 84 drops to the midline. He cuts back to the high side. The 01's got a hell of a run. Wow. All the meanwhile, it's Jesse Whittington up front by about a near second advantage over Matt Pericini. Pericini and Walden are very tight there, and then Charles Stevens about a half second off Walden. We're not going to get away from this battle anytime soon. They are going neck and neck for this spot, duking it out. Keep jumping to Corey Bunch because he keeps gaining on the field ahead of him here. Look at that, getting side by side with Josh King. King gets way up high into the wall, kisses the wall, and here comes Corey Bunch cruising up into 6th place. Make that +7 for Mr. Bunch here, as he has definitely got a long run car capable of moving through the field. Before long, he's going to be up here duking it out with the top 5. So if we get a long green flag run here and potential green flag pit stops, that could really spice things up here tonight. Strategy calls get very, very topsy-turvy when green flag pit stops are thrown in the mix. Still Cypress Academy 1 through 4. They're trying to achieve the feat for the second time as a team. They often do have a 5th car. Wow! Bennett right there again, getting into the back bumper of the 84. Momentum. 81 gets... like he gets turned around somewhere, falling out of the lead. Let's see if we can go back a lap or two and see what happened to the 81. Yeah, it looks like maybe just off the pace altogether. I don't see him spinning out here, so it must have been previous or prior to that he got out of contention from the lead lap, that is. So still 13 cars on the lead lap. We have 3 drivers at +7 here tonight. Corey Bunch up 7 spots. Currently running in 6th. So great day for Corey Bunch here so far. +7 spots for Charles Stevens Jr., your Cypress Academy contender for the title. And Matt Pericini up 7 spots. So rolling 3 7s there. That's definitely a good luck number. Have 3 7s on the field in any form or manner. Yeah, it's kind of hard to gauge what they're doing right now. You don't know if they're probably running wide open right now with numbers on the radar for when they need to start pitting. It's not like a lot of the other races this season we've seen where they kind of run around at half speed to try and save fuel. I do feel like they're pretty much wide open here tonight. figure out if I have a throttle and brake output. I think it's this one. And it'll show you. Kind of gives you an idea of how much they're in the throttle. It looks like he's at about 90% throttle down the straightaways, so no real fuel saving underway. We'll look at our leader and see how much throttle he's given it. If you're looking in the bottom right-hand corner, yeah, he gets up to about 90% throttle, so definitely no fuel saving on the mind of your leaders right now. Wow, Jesse Whittington overdrove it there. Kind of got glued to the wall just a little bit, but still maintaining a full second advantage over Matt Parasini. Travis Bennett gets back by Charles Stevens. We kind of saw that one brewing. He kept running right up on the back bumper of the 84, and finally Stevens kind of had to let it go. We got Corey Bunch and Joshua King side by side for position. Joshua King waking back up as Corey Bunch has to defend. And Charles Stevens might start falling into the grasps of Josh King and Corey Bunch here before long. Kind of feel like Bennett might be the one guy giving it the most throttle. You see he gets up to about almost 95% throttle down the front straight, back straight, both. Right there at about 100. Like it's about 8:30 in sim time, 8:30 p.m. As the track itself starts to cool down a little bit, are the drivers going to have to adjust to the changing track conditions? Jesse Whittington having a stellar chop job so far, keeping the lead, leading the laps, and really proven his point here tonight in the mix for the title. And in about 5 more laps, we'll be halfway through the season finale here tonight, as we're closing in towards halfway. Currently have 12 cars left on the lead lap, 2 cars 1 lap down. Jorge Ledesma Jr. just pitted, so that's why he went a lap down. And Josh Hall, we saw him slow on the track. Not sure if he had a problem or if he's just that far off the pace here tonight. So everyone just about on the same strategy here. We know they can go about 45 laps. So they're 30 laps into this run so far. Probably go about, I would wager about 60 to 65 laps on a run, but you might not see as many of them go that long. They might want to come in sooner, and that would be pushing it towards a near, you'd almost need another pit stop before the end of this one here tonight. Ideally, you want to race to about lap 85 before making your pit stop. But even then, it's going to be tight. Wow, he hung it up there way high on the outside. Well, not a whole lot of drum out there on track here at halfway. I do have a battle starting to brew, though, between Garrett Walden and Matt Parasini. Side by side down the backstretch. Matt Parasini wants to take the spot. Garrett Walden has been holding for the majority of this start. Side by side as they go roaring down the front stretch. 24 keeping him honest. He's trying to make another move, getting right there alongside of Walden here. Matt Parasini does not get the job done yet, but it seems like he's got the pace to get it done. Oh, Jesse Whittington's pitting right now here on lap 76, so we are going to see at least 2 more pit stops. Well, this one plus another. Should be a 2-stopper after the stage break here, the way things are setting up. Strategies, fuel mileage, all of that is going to factor in here tonight. And good on the field for keeping it clean. We're not seeing too many cautions here tonight. Nice long green flag run. It's risky. I mean, for Jesse Whittington to come in this early, man, that is opening Pandora's box here tonight in the championship finale. So he's going to have to hope just about everyone else follows suit. Which looks like Matt Parasini and Sharn Hill join him on pit road. Garrett Walden gains the lead here for a moment. Travis Bennett up to second. Charles Stevens Jr. in third. Corey Bunch in fourth. How long is Garrett Walden going to stay out? Like I was mentioning, I felt like 85 would be a good lap to race towards if they could make that happen. We already know that 42 laps is doable. Which in another 5 laps, that would put him at about lap 85 with a 42 lap stint. And that would only get you to lap 127 with another identical 42 lap push. So you almost got to make this one longer. A couple of the other drivers decided they're going to make it shorter though. Well, just like that, Jesse Whittington trying to get his lap back with race pace. He's up around Charles Stevens, who's third in line. He's got to get around the number 01 of Travis Bennett, the 43 of Garrett Walden to get back on the lead lap. That would be a tremendous push here, especially if we were to get a caution before the 2 leaders pit. Would save Jesse Whittington a mile-long headache of getting back into this race with a late race, mid-race caution. Stevens pitting. So the two standouts. Ooh, Garrett Walden gets way into the wall there. That might open the door for Travis Bennett to start closing that gap. Yeah, this is a risky gamble for Garrett Walden. Now that everyone else is pitted, they're out there on fresh tires, beating his lap times exponentially. So all that Garrett Walden is hoping for right now would be a caution to kind of make this long push relevant. But even if there's no caution, still a lot of racing to go. And he would have fresher tires than the rest of the field behind him with about 65, 70 laps to go. Wow, mad props to Matt Bands from getting spun out earlier and now up into fourth during this green flag transition of pit stops. Might not be able to maintain that fourth, but at least during the pit segment, stayed, all of the pit stops going under green flag conditions. He's maintaining a top 5. Garrett Walden gives up coming down pit road on 85, so that's kind of the money spot that I was talking about earlier, I felt like, because it means he's going to have fresher tires for the finish than most drivers who decided to pit early. And Travis Bennett's going to stay out a couple more laps here at least. Wow, see that? That's what I was talking about, the money move. Matt Pericini comes back out, and he's right there behind Jesse Whittington. And now he's got about 10 to 12 laps fresher tires than Jesse Whittington. And only a 1.2 second gap to close in on. So if the fresh tires hang on longer than Whittington, he should be able to close that gap pretty quickly before you know it. Travis Bennett makes the pit stop, and he now loses those spots to Whittington and Pericini. Garrett Walden gets around him. So I think Travis Bennett stretched it just a tad too long, as it looks like he's going to lose the most spots from the exchange here. And how about that? We stayed green through the majority cycle of green flag pit stops here tonight. We do have a couple drivers yet to pit. Lauren Vincent has not pitted. Billy Titoff, Ryan Gomes, Matt Bands, nor Corey Bunch, all of which are still staying out there at the front of the field. 5 cars without yet a pit stop here, but they'll definitely have to pit soon. What's interesting here for Corey Bunch, as you can see, he went 46 on this stint, 42 on the first stint, but the lap times are greatly diminished. As you can see there, lap traffic passing him with ease. His fast lap, that last lap, was a 34.81. The folks with fresh tires turned a 33.5, so a full second faster than Corey Bunch at the lead of the race here. Well, for Corey Bunch, the moment will be once he gets to about lap 95. That means he'll be able to run almost an identical stint for the second half of these two stints at the end of the race. If he can somehow make it 55 laps on one tank here and push it again to 58 laps on the next tank. There he is, coming down pit road, not quite making it to even 50, but 49 laps strong. Matt Baines is going to stay out. 49 laps on the run for him. Kind of makes you wonder if Baines got thrown into a slightly different strategy here tonight after getting wrecked early. He did pit under that caution, but then when everyone else had the stage break, he pitted with them there, so not too much of an advantage. But here he is coming down pit road. 50 laps on the run there for R72 of Matt Baines. Gomes is staying out too, so there's still a lot of folks that are pushing the limits of the fuel tanks here tonight. Well, the tough part for Ryan Gomes is he stayed out this long, which is kind of good on strategy-wise for the tires, that he'll have fresher tires than everyone else that had pitted already. But he's given up so much time running out there on old tires that it's going to take more than half of the race to get back up there with the leaders based on their lap times. The fall-off is not as quick as you think. So they're still out there turning very competitive times, even to that of Ryan Gomes, who's a still out there. Wow. Billy Tidoff coming down pit road now. Yeah, it's going to take a while for the 55 to get caught back up to Whittington and those folks. He's going to be able to push it to the finish, though. We know that he can make it 55 laps, as he's already turned about 55 laps on this stint. Cuts it right in the middle for that fuel strategy. 53. Yeah, so 53, and with about 53 laps to go now. And this is going to give Jesse Whittington the lead back. Man, the advantage on tires for Matt Parasini not as advantageous as you would think. He hasn't been able to close the gap on Whittington very quickly here. Still 1.6 seconds back. Garrett Walden is a 2.5 second deficit to Parasini. Charles Stevens is falling back to 6th. Sharon Hill back into 5th. Travis Bennett running in 4th. Well, we're almost down to 50 laps to go here tonight. Cypress Academy running 1, 2, 3 mostly all night here tonight. Travis Bennett the definitive spoiler in the title hunt for the Final Four. The fact that we're staying caution-free here tonight, you know, this is giving these drivers room to spread their elbows and just get to business. Jesse Whittington has not been struck by any misfortune, nor has Matt Parasini or Garrett Walden for that matter. It seems like potentially Charles Stevens' setup might be lacking a little bit in the speed department, as he's not quite up there with his 3 teammates duking it out for the championship. But don't count him out. He can still get back into this. 50 laps is a lot of racing, and potentially, you know, more opportunities could present itself if we get some late race cautions. Man, the crazy part is pit strategy is going to be weird, because if they're actually going to try to push it all the way without another pit stop, it's going to be a long run. It'll have to turn into a 4-stopper for some folks, whereas the likes of Ryan Gomes is looking to try and do it on a 3-stopper. Keep your eye on Gomes. If this race stays green for the rest of the night, your Cypress Academy folks might have to make one more pit stop, and Ryan Gomes might be out there cruising with the lead, trying to hold off all the hard-charging, fresh tire drivers that make last-ditch pit stops here in the closing laps. Very, very spread out through the field. Well, let's do a through the field starting from the back of the field and highlight the drivers here tonight. So here we have, running at the tail end of the field, this is the 81 of Josh Hall. Hasn't been a stellar season, but he's soldiering along and trying to get the best finishes he can finish. Hasn't really come together tonight, but soldiering along nonetheless. 14th position out of 14 cars. Ahead of him, you've got Jorge Ledesma Jr., who also is a couple laps down. He's currently running in 13th. He qualified 12th here today, so he's lost one spot from where he qualified. Ahead of that, running in 12th, you've got Lauren Vincent, who is on the lead lap. He has lost 7 spots from his qualifying position here today of 5th, as he sits in 12th right now. Ahead of him, you've got Billy Titoff, full 20 seconds ahead of Lauren Vincent. Billy Titoff qualified 6th here today, currently running in 11th. And you have Ryan Gomes, who, mark my words, he's got some strategy plan in the back pocket here tonight. If this race stays green, it could get interesting. Ryan Gomes qualified 7th here today. He's fallen back to 10th at the moment, but that does not show what's in store for him towards the finish. Next in line, you've got Joshua King. He's gained 1 spot from his qualifying position of 10th, running in 9th right now. Then Matt Baines Kind of been an up and down day for him, getting in the first caution of the night. He's been able to rebound, and he's settled into where he started this race in 8th place. Next in line it is Corey Bunch, who we've seen some daring passes and bold moves here tonight. Corey Bunch still has a very solid car underneath him. Keep an eye out on the number 02. If strategy starts to factor in, you never know what could happen. Gained 6 spots from his qualifying position in 7th right now. Charles Stevens Jr. up 5 spots from where he qualified tonight in 11th. Has not had near the same pace as his 3 teammates, but he's definitely holding his own here tonight, having a great race. 6th place is by far no, shame in that, no shame with the 6th place run, especially where he could still get up to 5th or 4th or even better with some luck here and maybe some strategy or cautions to help get him through the field. Next in line, you got Sharn Hill, number 5, running in 5th. He's lost 1 spot from his qualifying position here tonight of 4th. Right now he's defending on Charles Stevens Jr., trying to keep that 5th spot away from him. And then you have Travis Bennett running in 4th. He's lost 3 spots here from his qualifying position of the pole. Not a bad night for him by any means. 4th place run. He's kind of been playing spoiler a little bit. Led a lap, lost it to Jesse Whittington pretty early, and just holding on for a top 5 run here, it seems. Number 01 machine. And he's coming down pit road. So this is the start of the 4th round of pit stops. We'll get through the rest of through the field, your final 3 in the running order. The top 3, that is. Garrett Walden, 43, qualified 3rd. Having a great night. He's catching up some lap traffic there. Next in line, right there next to him, the 24, Matt Parasini. So if we saw Travis Bennett pit, probably just a matter of time before Whittington, Parasini, and Walden all pit as well. Matt Parasini up 7 spots here tonight from his qualifying position of 9th. And then with the lead, not showing much mistakes here out of the 94 machine, Jesse Whittington from 2nd place start here tonight has moved up 1 spot and has not looked back, dominantly leading as many laps as he has here, putting on a championship caliber run. So the next big scenario here is going to be when we see the next group of pit stops, and whether or not it's going to be a race-winning move. Doesn't necessarily have to be a race-winning move, as they are still in a championship battle with the other 2 that pitted with him. So there he is coming down pit road. This will be his final pit stop. They must just feel comfortable knowing that they'll have the fresh tires for a 40-lap charge to the finish. Once you get past lap 40, the fall off is ginormous with these cars. So now with fresher tires, and even Gomes, who has 1 less stop than everyone, and he's going to try to push it, I believe, and not pit any more times here tonight. Ryan Gomes may very well rotate back up to the lead here. Garrett Walden staying out. Matt Parasini also staying out. Nope, there he is, Parasini coming down. Charles Stevens was able to push it later, but he's not going to push it any longer. He's coming down pit road with his teammate Parasini here. And Gomes more than likely going to play the strategy game here tonight and try to coast around, save the fuel, save the tires. We'll see if he gets a big enough advantage here that he can hold from Jesse Whittington. Go ahead and pull up the pit strategy guide one more time. Walden, your leader, 42, 42, 31. So it looks like he's going to try to go perfect 42 on each stint there. Gomes, though, if you're looking at the stints, he's only halfway through a Garrett Walden stint. 18 laps in. Billy Titoff also on that unique scenario, but look at that. Billy Titoff gets passed by Jesse Whittington. So Whittington already passed one of the drivers on the off strategy. He's going to have to gain 10 seconds on Ryan Gomes here to really close that gap up. Going to be interesting. I like a gambling racer. Someone that's willing to roll the dice and try something different. Think outside the box to get their victory. It's been a tough year. And I guarantee you Ryan Gomes wants to close it out on top. It's weird. You know, you think back in the past, there was tracks like this. At the driver that would win the race didn't win the championship. It was always Greg Biffle when they'd come to Homestead. Greg Biffle had this track figured out. And yes, I am, throwing Greg Biffle's name out there. We're obviously greatly missing Greg Biffle right now. And, yeah, I guess the point I'm getting at is, Ryan Gomes, if he manages to win the race here tonight and not the championship, he's kind of pulling a Greg Biffle. Or, in more current race terms, pulling a Ross Chastain. We've seen Ross Chastain win at Phoenix, even though he wasn't in the title hunt anymore. I think even Ryan Blaney's won the race, even if he's not in the championship four. So there's been occasions where those drivers, they show up to Phoenix and they win the championship. They win the race, but not the championship. Guess we can kind of coin it the Greg Biffle or the Ross Chastain move, to win the final race of the season, even though you're not in the mix for the title. He's got a 7.3 second advantage now on Jesse Whittington. Whittington on fresher tires. Ryan Gomes, he is going to be coasting out here, trying to save everything he's got. Still, it's Garrett Walden up front leading with 30 laps to go. Garrett Walden now making his pit stop. And that stint for him was 35. So close to 42, but he decided to pull out a little early on execution there. This should put him back with Jesse Whittington. Looks like Corey Bunch rotates around to the lead with Matt Bands in second. Ryan Gomes is now going to move up to third as Garrett Walden falls back a spot there. The advantage for Ryan Gomes, 7 seconds over Jesse Whittington. Corey Bunch, he's kind of in the early segment of his stint here. With 30 laps to go, he'd have to be going about 59 laps on a stint, which is very unlikely. So he'll have to pit, but he might be out there just cruising, hoping for a caution or something to kind of go his way here, since the strategy call might not really pan out at this point. 58 laps is a long run on the fuel. But Bands is sitting solid. You see there, Bands over Gomez, it's about 4 laps longer that Bands will have to run. So at about 57, Gomes will have to go about 54. But he already proved that he can make it to 53, so. Regardless of all of those scenarios panning out right now, Jesse Whittington would be your title holder as they sit. 3.5 second advantage over his teammate Matt Parasini. And then Garrett Walden about 5 seconds back. Charles Stevens still holding on to what should be about a top 7 finish. Top 5 if he gets by Billy Titoff there. Yeah, things are looking a little bit more bleak here for Ryan Gomes, as his advantage is now under 5 seconds to Jesse Whittington with 25 laps to go. And assuredly, he's slowing down to try and save the tires, trying to save fuel numbers here. He ain't going to be able to go wide open and keep Whittington behind him. So once Whittington catches him, it's game over. 4.5 seconds. He's losing a couple tenths here, a couple tenths there. With 25 laps to go, his best case scenario is to try and lose only about a tenth a lap. And he could be right there at the finish line, holding off Jesse Whittington. This lap, the advantage 4.54 for Gomes. Matt Band's way out front from Ryan Gomes. Gomes, I think, is in super save mode. Even then, he's gaining some ground. He's back up to 4.58. Backstretch is where he's losing it right there. Coming through the turns now. He's lost a lot of ground. 4.24. 4.3, starting to catch up again. Lose some, gain some. 23 laps to go. Or I guess 24 laps to go. Counting ahead a little too quickly. Yeah, Whittington is now down to 3.8 seconds on catching Ryan Gomes. Matt Pericini and Garrett Walden duking it out for position. This could be a relevant move if Whittington has any trouble. These are your runner-up positions. The 24 of Matt Pericini now getting by Garrett Walden. If anything were to happen to Whittington, Pericini would be sitting in the catbird seat. But he's got basically 3.5 seconds to catch Jesse Whittington on, which is going to be no small feat. Unless they get a late race caution that could help settle things down a little bit. Oh, look at the 43 giving it all he's got, going way high. Kisses the wall. He's going to drag race down the front stretch and get the advantage on Walden there. Pericini side by side. Has a nose out front. Oh, Jesse gets way up high into the wall. Ryan Gomes only has a 2.2 second advantage as Jesse Whittington has got his car connected to the track like a slot car. He is rolling through. The speed difference is very noticeable now as the tires have gotten away from Ryan Gomes. Corey Bunch could not stay out any longer, so Matt Bands jumps to the lead. 1.6 seconds Gomes has now on Whittington. With Corey Bunch pitting, that moves Whittington up to third, Gomes up to second, Walden up to fourth, Pericini up to fifth, Travis Bennett sixth, and Charles Stevens Jr. up to seventh. 20 laps remain now. Gomes still has at least a 1 second advantage for now, but how long is that gap gonna stay? 94 is really putting in the laps. Speed starting to pick up. What's amazing to me is that Gomes had a sound strategy, and it's the bed you make once you do the stretch strategy. You're stretching yourself out thin, wearing yourself out faster than the rest of the drivers who come through and get the fresh tires. So always love seeing a strategy game that could potentially be the David versus Goliath scenario. Fortunately, it looks like the Goliaths are going to overtake Gomes here in a couple laps time. 18 laps to go. We got to give credit to Gomes for really putting on a show here, giving us something to talk about. Had a good run. He's now has a half-second advantage over Jesse Whittington. But here's what's crazy. Matt Bands is still up front. Could he simply coast to the finish line? Has a 6.8 second advantage over Jesse Whittington. What does he have left in the tank? If Gomes could make it to the finish without another pit stop, is Bands going to come up about 2 or 3 laps short? There you go. Jesse Whittington up to second. That drops Ryan Gomes back to third, and it might be a, that's the game over right there, unfortunately, when the fastest car gets back around you. Might as well just coast it out and take whatever finish you can get. You never know if something else might happen that could get you back into the mix. Late race caution, everyone pits. You have track position now. That's definitely key. Third place on track. Come down the pits. You could stay third, come out with fresh tires with the leaders and duke it out for the win. But how about Matt Bands? Haven't talked enough about him yet here tonight. It's kind of given the Gomes scenario, but this is the scenario I don't think is going to pan out. Gomes seemed like the more likely candidate to actually pull it off with his fuel numbers. But if we're looking at fuel numbers right now, Matt Bands at 43, and he's got 15 laps to go. That means he's going to have to run 58 laps, which would have been 5 laps more than what Gomes did on his second stint. It's not impossible, just very highly unlikely. But you think about it, those 3 laps that Gomes stayed out was what lost him about 6 seconds on track. That's what gives Matt Bands about that 6-second advantage on Jesse Whittington right now. So how masterfully is he going to be able to save fuel in these closing laps? Keep an eye on his tracker here. This is where you're likely going to see it about 70% throttle throughout the... Wow, he's giving it more fuel than I would have expected. He ain't worried about burning fuel. He's definitely getting out of the throttle a lot sooner in the turns, keeping it glued up high there. His advantage starting to shrink down to 5.7 seconds. Jesse Whittington, 12 laps to go. Man, Matt Bands might be able to pull off a upset win here tonight that no one saw coming. He got wrecked early in the race. One of the first cautions of the night got spun out. Hit the inside wall on the exit of turn 2. Wasn't really his fault, just wrong place, wrong time. But went down pit road, got a quick repair. Kind of set him off strategy, but even though he was off strategy, it really didn't change this strategy because everyone pitted on the stage brakes, so that reset the game. Well, Matt Bands, big brain move, decided to go 50 laps and stay out a little longer than most, but still come in earlier than a couple of the others that stayed out longer than him. And it could be the money move of the night. Ten to go. Your title currently sits at Jesse Whittington. Would be the rightful heir of the trophy here tonight, the championship. But the fire is going to be burning under him. You know it. He wants to get up there and win the race tonight. He doesn't want to just finish second and get the title. He wants to go. Take the win, take the trophy, take the title, all in one foul swoop. The other, Matt Bands is pitting. So Matt Bands, unfortunately, yeah, we kind of saw that one coming. I was starting to wonder if he could kind of let up and just lay out but the numbers were not lining up at all. So Baynes relinquishes the lead to the title leader, Jesse Whittington, with 9 laps to go. Garrett Walden second in line. Ryan Gomes is going to turn this into a top 5 finish if he holds on. Great turnaround. He was the one that upset the top 4 at Gateway earlier a couple weeks ago, where they almost had back-to-back weeks of Cypress Academy top 4 finishing in the top 4. But Gomes took 4th away. I want to say it was from Pericini, if I'm not mistaken, or possibly Stevens. Well, kind of lining up like that again. Matt Pericini could get by Gomes right here. And Charles Stevens just a few steps back, looking to try and get back into the top 4 for a sweep of the top 4 for Cypress Academy. Kind of a long shot at this point, as he's about 10 seconds back. Not a whole lot of drama for the title, as Whittington has a 2-second advantage over Garrett Walden. Garrett Walden starting to eat into that deficit a little bit, down to 1.7 seconds, maybe trying to find every last ounce of speed out of that 43 machine. Cypress Academy now running 1-2-3 as Pericini gets by Gomes. 1.7 seconds still the advantage for Jesse Whittington at the lead. 6 laps remaining. .5 and lap traffic in between them. This could make it a little harder. Whittington 1.5 seconds ahead of Garrett Walden. Walden's going to have to get around the 17 of Josh King. .36 seconds. Maybe using a little bit of a draft off the 17 here, as he's closing the gap pretty rapidly on Jesse Whittington. Oh, he hits the wall. That's just a bit of a rub. Not bad. Kind of keeps the momentum, keeps railing around the outside. Deficit down to 1.2. Gets around. Josh King, class act, lets him by. Knows that it's not his battle to fight right now. Title is on the line, and the 2 guys ahead of him are duking it out. Down to 1 second. Seems like an eternity on the racetrack, though. 1 second, not a lot, but big gap still for Garrett Walden to close up in 4 laps time. Got to be on top of your game and not make any mistakes here. Garrett Walden sees blood in the water, and he's trying to attack. He drove it in a little too hot there and hit the wall. So the driver that makes the fewest mistakes here is going to be able to execute and take the title. Jesse Whittington, all he's got to do is defend. Hold his line and not let the 43 by. His camera angle is going to be perfect for the final lap. As you can see the momentum, you can see the run from Garrett Walden here. Both these drivers just hoping not for a caution. This race better go green all the way to the finish right now, because it's going to get tight. It's going to get exciting. And it's within a half second now that your 2 title contenders are right there in the same picture. Walden has closed that gap down to 0.3 seconds, 0.4. Loses a little bit of ground there, back to 0.5. But he's going to have 1 more lap to fight out. White flag waving, here we go. Is it going to be Jesse Whittington or his teammate Garrett Walden getting the job done here tonight? Garrett Walden is driving the wall off of this car. He's bouncing off the walls just trying to get up to the 94. He doesn't care how roughed up this car is going to be. He's going to do whatever it takes to get the 94 and fight for the championship. Jesse Whittington's got a 0.2 second advantage. It's going to be close, but he's going to hit the wall. Jesse Whittington's going to be able to cruise to victory and take the title here tonight. Stellar performance from the 94. Dominance on pure display here tonight. And he takes the title for Season 11 of the SCSRA Cup Series, presented by Dev Sports Cards. Wow, what an exciting finish. We had 2 cars under a blanket for that final lap. Garrett Walden gave it everything he had. It's another Cypress Academy 1-2-3 finish. Charles Stevens brings it home 6th. The man of the hour, Jesse Whittington, riding on the momentum from Kentucky, winning there. That was his 2nd win of the season. He joins a couple other of his Cypress Academy stars with 3 wins apiece as they do their 3-wide salute on the start-finish line. And Jesse Whittington's going to go burn it down, celebrate this victory and championship here tonight in Homestead. The way it ought to be. Homestead, Miami, it's where the championship used to be. It's where it's coming back with the real series, real NASCAR. Teammates celebrating victory donuts together. Great 1-2-3 for Cypress Academy. Ryan Gomes was able to hold on for 4th. A stellar performance from Ryan Gomes. The fact that he was able to play the strategy game and have a potential shot at the win. Here we have all of the Cypress Academy cars celebrating in style. Your final 4. Didn't quite get all 4 spots here tonight, but Stevens came home 6th. Still celebrating with the team. Well, there you have it, folks. Another season in the books. A champion crowned in Jesse Whittington. Garrett Walden tried to put up one heck of a fight there, but came up short in the closing laps. Matt Parasini with a 3rd. Ryan Gomes 4th. Travis Bennett 5th. Charles Stevens Jr. 6th. Sharon Hill 7th. Corey Bunch 8th. Billy Titoff 9th. And I will do interviews, post-race interviews. Corey Bunch comes home 8th. Billy Titoff 9th. Matt Baines 10th. Josh King 11th. Lauren Vincent 12th. Jorge Ledesma Jr. 13th. And Josh Hall rounding out the field in 14th. So let us get to our post-race interviews. And I will go ahead and pull in your 3rd place finisher on the evening, Matt Parasini. Jacob in the booth, do you copy, Matt?
Yep.
Well, congratulations tonight on the team having a stellar performance. How did the car feel for you tonight? What all did you have to do to gain any more spots on the track? 3rd place here tonight at Homestead. Definitely still a great finish, but what else did you have in the tank?
I laid it. I laid everything out that I had. I just didn't have enough. Not have enough for Garrett. Didn't have enough for Jesse. Congrats to Jesse on the championship. I mean, he was the class of the field. Garrett gave it all he had there at the end, but I didn't have anything for either one of those 2.
Yeah, Homestead's definitely one of those tracks that can be. It's a racer's track. I feel like definitely one of those tracks where you get a feel for it and you're really good at it, or sometimes it's just one of those tracks that's hard to approach. Is this one of those tracks for you that's harder to approach, or pretty comfortable with Homestead?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty good with Homestead as long as the setup is half decent, but this iRacing setup is absolute trash. I'll call it what it is. iRacing has a lot of work to do because you can't drive this piece of junk if his life depended on it. So,
Well, and that seems to be a common trend in a lot of the next gen setups I've seen, even in other leagues that I've been around. Um, it definitely does. A lot of it comes down to setup, and so yeah, for even for a third place tonight, you soldiered along and got a great finish. Any friends, family, sponsors you want to thank here tonight?
Yeah, just thank the guys on the team. I mean, Jesse, Garrett, Charles and Vince. I mean, our goal was to lock out the top four. We did that. And then we were going to settle it amongst the four of us, and that's exactly what we did. It's pretty disappointing that I didn't have what I needed to compete with Jesse and Garrett, but it is what it is.
Well, I feel for you, man, and on to the next season. I'm sure you'll probably get back into it just fine. So heartbreak for sure, not getting up there and running with them for the win, but we'll see you next season.
Yeah, thank you.
Alrighty, and second in the finishing order tonight, Garrett Walden. Go ahead and bring him in the booth. Garrett, this is Jacob. Do you copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, how about that race tonight? It looked like it was dominance from Cypress Academy pretty much all night, and you had a chance there at the end. Your car, did it come to you in the end of that run? Was it the strategy, or what happened to get that last burst of strength at the end of the race?
Just offsetting pit strategy, having better tires towards the end, and I was chasing Jesse down, and I got in the wake of some lap cars. Not necessarily their fault. I mean, it's just the way these cars are designed. Got bad aero in it. I mean, it cost me a bit, but I think had it just been clear track, I would have caught him. In all honesty, but I mean, so it happens, and it's no one's fault. Just the way these cars and everything's designed.
Yeah, definitely heartbreaking to come that close and not secure the title, but still got to feel happy that the team was able to pull off a great finish here tonight. All three of you in the top three. Uh, was the race really grueling? To me, from my seat, it was long, no cautions, pretty grueling, wasn't it?
Yeah, a lot of it's was hitting your marks and just making sure that you kept your car and your tires and everything underneath you. Um, you didn't want to burn them off too early in a run, but you also didn't want to wait too long because then you're trying to play catch up at the end of a run. So it was a lot of balancing between being good at the front end of a run and then at the back end. But yeah, it was like a lot of like grueling, just concentration of like making sure you hit your marks, every single lap.
For sure, yeah. No, he came close there, and it was just a little too late for the last burst to get Jesse. Um, with that on the line, obviously next season will come around, and I'm sure everything will kind of fix itself in due time. Is there any friends, family, sponsors you want to thank here tonight?
Yeah, just thanks to this team, we've been amazing all year, all of us together. We've been consistent and running well, and all of us. And then we were the final four. It was us. Thanks to the league admins and you for putting on a broadcast every week. Shout out to my mom who's always watching. Always supporting me and everything I do. From stuff in IRL to just stuff like this that I have fun doing. But then shout out to everybody that raced in the league this year or this season. It's been a lot of fun.
Well, heck yeah, it's been a fun race, fun ride for me to hop along and watch everyone. You guys put on a great show this year, and keep your head up high. Hopefully, I'll be along for the ride going forward, following seasons, and we'll see you next time.
Yes, sir.
And the number one guy at the top of the podium here this evening, Jesse Whittington. Jacob in the booth. Do you copy, Jesse?
Yeah, I got you, man.
Man, how a season comes to a crossroads like this, and the momentum was on your side after Kentucky, the last race before this one. what's going through your head right now after taking home the race win and the title here tonight?
Uh, I mean, first of all, I have to give a huge shout out to my teammates. I mean, I've never heard of another team locking out the final four before, and I got to give all of these guys credit. Every single one of them with multiple wins on the season. I couldn't be more proud of a first year program than I am of this. Um, but uh, back to what you specifically asked. It feels good. I haven't been on my A game. The I feel like majority of the season. I mean, I've had good finishes and ran pretty decent, but I feel like the raw pace, the usually something that I'm really good at is saving tires, and I really haven't had that this year. But being able to have some raw pace and save some tires last week was able to give me a little bit of hope, I guess you could say, to come into tonight and try to do the same. I mean, I was lucky to be able to hold on. I don't know what Garrett was doing differently that last run, but I only slowed down to my usual like 33.8s and kept on running with that. And God, he was catching me like I was sitting still. So got to give him a lot of credit. Hats off to him. Amazing season. Matt rounding out the podium. 4 of the 5 races in the playoffs with Cypress Academy 1, 2, 3. I couldn't be more happy for these guys.
Yeah, it's totally stellar getting to see you guys put on basically a clinic every week. Top 3 here, top 4 at Talladega. But but yeah, it's been a grueling season. I can tell. You guys definitely left it out there on the track here tonight and put on a great performance. Did it again, and it was just, gritty, determination, and it's proven that Cypress Academy definitely puts together the right program to get these, you know, race winning championship caliber teammates together, and it's awesome to see. Um, what else do you have to say going forward for next season? You guys gonna have the same lineup, you think, or is obviously you can't really tell right now, I'm sure, but the chemistry seems to be there. Is it likely to continue on into a season 12?
Uh, there's a possibility. I'm not 100% sure what my plans are. If these guys want to keep on working, I'll keep on putting practice sessions up. Try to make sure that these guys, if they continue to run next season, I'll do what I can from my end. I'm not 100% sure. Um, I might take a season off to kind of regroup and run less leagues, less nights a week. Um, so we'll just kind of play it by ear. I'm not 100% sure just yet. But I mean, heck, what a season though. Being able to come in last year as a rookie with the series, get the championship, and then earn it again this year. Like I said, couldn't be more proud of these guys. I don't know what their plans are. We haven't gone into specifics for this league. I know we're all going to be running in a different league on a different night together, but I'm not 100% sure. For me, it all just depends on my schedule.
Right. Yeah, no, first and foremost that, mental fatigue sometimes factors in. You gotta put health first, and sometimes to get spread a little too thin, you don't want that happen. I totally get that. So, any last thanks is to the sponsors, friends, and family you want to shout out?
Absolutely. As always, my wife, my kids, can't thank them enough for their love and support. We got Cypress Academy on the hood this week. Uh, the Monday evening we got home and we were like, "Hey, our paints are not matching, or like they're nothing's lining up on them." And I was like,
Well, that was
How
part.
about we run test games?
That was part of the whole iRacing update, wasn't it? With the new scheme.
Yeah.
Yep. And so, kind of when life gives you lemons, make lemonade kind of deal, right?
Exactly. So I was like, you know what? Let's have some fun with it. I'm gonna deck us out in different colored test schemes and put Cypress Academy on the hood, and that's all we're gonna have. And they went with it. We had a good time with it. But beyond that, I gotta thank minus 273 gloves, uh, Moza. My buddy Luke Haley, can't thank him enough. He's always been here. Big Fish Barbecue. If you go to their Facebook, I just got named their graphic designer, so you'll start seeing some of my designs on their
Nice.
stuff here soon. And then, as always, thanks to you for putting on the show every week, and thanks to the league for putting this on week in and week out. I know it's a lot of work that goes into it, so can't thank them enough for giving us a place to come and race and have a good time and just kind of escape reality for a little bit. So, and thanks to anybody that's still watching right now. I know I'm a little long-winded, but thank y'all for being here and showing the support all season. And we'll catch y'all later.
Well, hey, you're the champ, so you deserve all the time in the clock as necessary to get the word out there. So thanks again, dude, for a great season. Congratulations on the championship, and look forward to see what ventures you jump into for next year.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate it. And you have a good rest of your night.
Yep, take care. Well, folks, that is a wrap on the season here. Show one more time the finishing lineup. So, 15 races of racing action comes to a close here tonight, and we roll into the off season of uncertainty. Obviously, every off season there's a lot of uncertainty. You never know when the next season might start. Sometimes it's it's in the works, but we don't know. The rest of the public doesn't know, so we will see what the future brings. The SCSRA has had 11 stellar seasons. This one did not disappoint. Teammates took it home. A team factor really kicked it into high gear, and it was a 1-2-3-4 title for Cypress Academy. So Cypress Academy already setting themselves up as the Hendrick Motorsports of the SCSRA Dev Sports Cards Cup Series. And we'll see what the future holds. Hopefully I'll be along for the races going forward. I'm excited to keep intact with all the racing and action, all the drivers and characters. It's been an exciting season. I hope I was able to deliver some great calls this season. It was exciting. I appreciate the opportunity presented to me through Intensity Broadcasting. I have thrived and enjoyed every moment. So thanks again to the SCSRA Cup Series for having me. Thanks to Intensity Broadcasting for giving me this opportunity. And thanks to all the fans, all the racers that put on the shows, everyone that's still tuned in right now watching at the end here. Appreciate every single one of you. You never really can never say that enough, because everything you do supports the server, which in some long form of way supports racing as a whole. So excited for what's to come. Not sure when it's coming, but we'll see what the next venture has for us. Until then, this is Jake Stir signing out. Have a great night, everyone. Stay safe out there.